Your .NET app passed every code review, every unit test, and still crawls in production. The framework isn't the problem. Almost every slow .NET app is slow for the same handful of reasons, and once you know what to look for, you can spot them in your own codebase in minutes. Let's go from zero to pro. The first culprit is garbage collector pressure. Every time you allocate an object on the heap, you're handing the runtime a little bit of future cleanup work. Do that a few times, no problem. Do it millions of times inside a hot loop or a busy request handler, and the garbage collector has to stop your threads to reclaim memory. Those pauses show up as random latency spikes that never appear in your local testing. The second culprit hides in plain sight: Sync-over-Async code. Calling .result or .wait on a task looks harmless, but it blocks a thread pool thread while it waits. Under light load, that's invisible. Under real traffic, every blocked thread is one less thread available to handle the next request, so the thread pool starves, queued requests pile up, and response times climb even though your CPU looks nearly idle. Here's the gotcha that catches almost every .NET developer at least once. Blocking on async code inside a request context doesn't just waste a thread, it can deadlock outright. The blocked call is waiting for its continuation to run, but that continuation needs a thread from the same starved pool to resume on. Two things waiting on each other, forever. The fix is almost always the same one line, top to bottom, await instead of block. Next up is the N+1 query, Entity Framework's favorite trap. You loop over a list of orders and access each order's customer, and lazy loading fires a brand new database round trip for every single row. 100 orders means 101 queries instead of one well-written join. Each round trip carries network latency, and that latency adds up far faster than the query itself ever could. Boxing and unboxing quietly taxes hot paths too. Every time a value type like an int or a struct gets treated as an object, the runtime allocates a heap box to hold it, and unboxing copies it back out. It's cheap once. Repeated inside a loop processing thousands of records, it turns into thousands of unnecessary allocations feeding straight back into that garbage collector pressure from earlier. String concatenation has the same shape of problem. Strings in .NET are immutable, so every plus sign on a string inside a loop creates an entirely new string and discards the old one. Building a report by concatenating 1,000 lines allocates 1,000 throwaway strings. A string builder does the same job with one growable buffer instead. Then there's the work you didn't need to do at all. Recomputing an expensive calculation or requerying data that barely changes on every single request is pure waste. A cache with a sensible expiration turns a slow, repeated operation into a fast lookup, and it's often the single biggest win available because it removes work instead of merely speeding it up. Chatty, unpooled resources finish the list. Opening a new database connection or HTTP client for every call instead of reusing a pool exhausts sockets and adds connection setup time to every single operation, and it's one of the easiest things to fix once you know to look for it. The good news is you don't have to guess which of these is hurting you. Tools like dotnet-trace and dotnet counters or application insights in production show you exactly where time and allocations are going, so you fix the real bottleneck instead of the one you assumed. So when your .NET app is slow, it's rarely the framework's fault. It's blocking calls pretending to be async, queries running one row at a time, allocations piling up faster than the garbage collector can clear them, and work being redone that should have been cached. Find those 5 patterns, fix them one at a time, and you'll watch your app go from 0 to pro.